Welcome in, everybody. This is going to be a bit of a impromptu live stream here, so we'll get going here in just a few as soon as the room fills up. Feel free to talk amongst yourselves in the chat. Alrighty, let's get going here. Welcome in, Steven. Let me know if you guys can you guys hear me okay? I didn't really get a chance to check on the gear or whatever. Good to see you, Zoe. GP, how are you? Thank you, Renee. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Christine, how are you? Teresa, Jill, Renee, Diddums. No, I'm not feeling better. I got the Kung flu, and we lost our dog Rufus at some point in the night. He's had terminal cancer, so we knew it was coming. Just kept telling myself that it wasn't going to be as soon as the vets told us it would be. So, but it is what it is. Hey, what's up, Gambies? Hope you have a good day. Hold it down. True Crime Housewife, welcome in. Nerdy Cat, welcome in. I really think a plea deal is going to be put on the table. For sure. Three things can happen, right? They say, okay, we're going to trial. There could even be a dismissal, an agreement to dismiss and possibly file charges later, or there's going to be some kind of a settlement or a plea agreement. What's up, Fiend? Thank you, Renee. Shout out to whoever was gifted. Shout out to the lucky viewer there. Thistle. Patricia, good to see you. So honestly, guys, this is what I've been waiting for. You know, we saw the 3 days filled with hearings, and that was to clear the docket. And if you see here, everything's cleared off. They're clear. There's nothing scheduled but a jury trial. So we could expect the status hearing. Now, everything that I knew about a status hearing is that's where the plea deal will be offered. All cards will be put out on the table. And if you notice on the 8th, all we had was a submission of the witnesses and the exhibit list to the state. We see the change in behavior in Richard Allen, not only in his appearance but in his demeanor. And he was given what he wanted. He wanted to be taken out of that prison he was at, and under those circumstances, and that was granted to him. Well, just a few, not too long ago, they scheduled the status hearing. So that's the end of the road. That's where they're gonna check. They're gonna look at all of the evidence. They're gonna talk about what they have. If there is going to be a plea agreement, it'll be offered there. And Richard Allen will be advised on the consequences of that plea. If there's others involved, we'll most likely they'll find out about that as well. And his charges could even be changed. But on the flip side, they could also dismiss the charges. But this is what I've been waiting for personally. And I believe they will offer him a plea deal. And I think that's why he feels like there's been a load lifted off of his shoulders, because he's ready to do that. I truly believe that. And we'll go into exactly what a status hearing is and what it entails and what we can expect. I appreciate that, Jill. Molly, how are you? Welcome to the Sleuth Crew, Renee. Fight for Justice, how are you? Nana73. Keeping eyes peeled, how are you? Hey, Mustang. Good to see you. Thank you, Phoenix. Yeah, he was a good boy. I gave him a million kisses every day. We knew he was going to pass. He had like internal bleeding and stuff, and he would get, I don't know if it was jaundice or whatever, but his gums would get really pale. And the vet told us if he does go, it'll be because of that. And it will be quick. And it appears that he passed in his sleep, so. But yeah, it's been really hard. Good to see you, Farmer. Jody Lynn. Cindy, about 30 minutes from the trail. I'm going to walk it today. So sorry for the loss of your baby. Thank you. I appreciate that. It's been rough. It's been a rough one. Thank you, Farmer. I appreciate that. 2 dogs and a cat. We've lost pretty much all of our senior animals over the last 2 years, and those 3 in less than 3 months. Taco. Good to see you, Beth. Thank you for that, Mustang. Good to see you, Rescue. It says canceled, and then it was rescheduled for the 15th. Well, I would tell you it's you, Farmer, but if it's you, I don't think you could hear me. Hey, Misty, how are you? Lisa, hello. Phoenix. No, it'll happen at the status hearing. They don't have to accept the plea, and they can reconvene on that. But yeah, that's where it happens, at a status hearing. This is what I've been waiting for. I told you guys at the end of the road, when everything is said and done, we will see the plea deal. The defense team did everything that they could, and either they were successful At the status hearing, they're going to see if they can resolve this without going to a trial. Hey, Mar, welcome in. Yep, welcome back, Renee. Good timing, too, because we're doing a giveaway tomorrow. Thank you, Gambies. I appreciate it. My wife is devastated. Kids stayed home from school. Oh, it was bad. Heather, welcome in. Lorraine, good to see you. Thank you, Miss Mala. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah, that's how old they were, about 15. Rufus was a pit bull, so that's pretty good for him. He was a tough dog. Tough, very loving. I don't know, Farmer, they might be better. They might be better than people. As far as loyalty and kindness, anyway. Jibbo, do you think they will allow Alan to keep his toilet toffees in a plea deal? I don't know what that means. H. Nixon, welcome in. Yep, if there's going to be a plea deal, it'll happen here. And this was set for the 23rd of this month at 1 p.m. Hey, Pitbull Mom, welcome in. Dana. Regis, welcome in. Hey, Richard, long time no see. Good to see you, my friend. How you doing? Fostering a senior dog called Betty. Good. Yeah, all of our dogs are fosters. They're all adopted. Rescues. Yeah, we love our dogs. And our cats. Well, we only have one cat now. Hey, Amy. Sorry if I sound a little funny. I appreciate that. And I just want to give a shout out to the Sleuth crew and everybody who's been giving me those well wishes. It really helps. It means a lot. Positive energy goes a long way. No, it says here the 23rd. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, true crime. Hey, Steffa, how are you? Yep, this is what I've been waiting for. You know, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen here. Or at least the beginning of the negotiating will happen here. Good to see you, Miss C.D. Isaacs. I'm sorry to hear that. 14 years. Yeah, that's rough. I mean, you just get so used to him. For me, it's going to be Rufus, when we would get home, he would do this little shuffle. It was like he would shuffle his feet all quick, and he always would bring He didn't care what it was. It didn't have to be his toy, or he would just grab whatever it was and he would bring it. He would have it in his mouth. So whenever we opened the door, he was there with that little clickety 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 clack on the tile, and he's given, he's always has something to offer. Always something in his mouth. Usually it's a toy. I'm gonna miss that. It's good to see you, Nana. Hey, Sensei, with the 7-month flex. Good to see you. Appreciate your support. Thank you for being a longtime member. Thank you, GP. "101 degrees in Dallas." Jeez. They're almost up there with us. Safe travels to you. Be careful out there in Dallas. Yeah, I like cats too. Hey, Chopper. It's good to see you. Abby's grandma, how are you? Thank you for that. I appreciate that. Okay, let's get started here. So I had a few pages that I had saved here, bookmarked, that I wanted to go over with you to kind of help explain in the way I see things. And like I said, I could be wrong, hence the question mark. This could be a go ahead for trial. This could be some kind of a settlement. This could be lesser charges for Richard Allen. Could even be a dismissal. But all the cards are now going to be on the table. Thank you, Steffa. Yeah, it takes the air out of you. It's like getting hit in the stomach. I was having trouble sleeping and I couldn't figure out why. Sure enough, I figured out exactly why I couldn't sleep. Hey, Lisa. She Warrior, how are you? Yep. Now, all status hearings are going to be scheduled by the judge. And I expected this after all of those hearings, right? She cleared out the docket. Boom. Everything's cleared out. There's no new business. Right after, what does she do? She schedules the status hearing. So this is what I've been waiting for. Because if there's going to be a plea deal, it's going to happen here. Because any lawyer tricks and any of that shit comes to an end now. All cards are going to be on the table. If there's any hidden witnesses, any CIs, any unknown CCTV footage, anything like that, everything comes out on the table and everything's going to be discussed, including the consequences. So if there's going to be a deal, the negotiating will begin on that day during this hearing. Old man Jack Russell. Okay, so he's ready for a nap. Long day on the beach. Okay, so this is going to be, and we're going to go over a few different examples, and we'll pull up a few videos from some of these law firms across the country. This quick little Article is going to be from Orient Law Offices. So here, what happens at a status hearing in a criminal case? Grabbing an old sock. Yep. 100%, Cindy. Unconditional. True crime and wine couple. Good. Yeah, and we still have, let's see, how many? Let's see, 1 cat and 3 dogs. Keep your eyes peeled. Sleuth intuition. If there's a plea deal, that happens, then no one will know exactly what happened, correct? I don't know. It really depends on what type of a deal they come up with. I mean, I pray that the families do get answers. And if they don't have enough for Richard Allen, there's no reason to go to trial, and they should dismiss the charges. I just don't think that that's what's gonna happen. This is playing out exactly like I said it would, and the way I've been saying it would from the beginning. Regis, if there's a plea deal, then maybe Richard Allen will talk about involvement of other perpetrators if there was any. Exactly. So that'll happen too, and he could even get lesser charges. Yeah, I agree. Hey, Augie. Hey, Jacqueline, how are you? My 13-year-old Dotson has mammary tumors and an ear infection despite antibiotics. Keep her in your prayers. Name is Minnie. You got it. You got it. Um, keeping eyes peeled says doesn't mean he'll tell the truth. No, most of these, well, it really depends on his involvement. If he's a psychopath, he's gonna tell what makes him look good. If they embarrassed him, if for whatever reason his ego was came under fire or whatever, and he felt small, he's gonna leave that part out. He's not gonna relive any of that. He's only gonna talk about the stuff that he did, the rage, why he did it, and I'm sure he'll do his best to put it on somebody else because that's what these people do if he's guilty. But like I said, this is also going to be the opportunity for him to receive just a straight up dismissal. Yep, that intuition. Okay, so what happens at a status hearing in a criminal case? During the status conference, your lawyer and the prosecutor discuss the charges against you and possible resolutions. For example, the prosecutor might agree to reduce the sentence if you agree to plead guilty. And that's what I think is going to happen. He will plead guilty. Your attorney might propose to reduce the charges against you based on the evidence he intends to present at trial. If an agreement is reached during the status conference, a sentencing hearing is scheduled. The judge considers the matter. While the judge can impose any sentence authorized by law, most judges accept the prosecutor's recommendation regarding sentencing. When there is no agreement reached at the status conference, the court schedules a date for a preliminary hearing. In other words, the case proceeds through the judicial system toward a trial. So if they can't come up with a deal, we're back to where we were and we're headed towards a trial and possibly some pretrial hearings. Benefits of accepting a plea deal at the status conference. When you accept a plea bargain offered by the prosecutor, you are pleading guilty to a crime. You will have a criminal record and a judge will sentence you. Therefore, you must consider a plea deal very carefully. Your criminal defense lawyers can help you decide whether a plea bargain is in your best interest based on the facts of your case. For example, if the evidence the state has against you is overwhelming, you might want to accept the plea deal to receive a reduced sentence. If you were to go to trial, a jury might find you guilty of the original criminal charges, which could result in a more severe punishment. That is a cute name, Minnie. Support with Stefa. Did anyone request a status hearing? No, you don't request a status hearing. The judge schedules it. And that's why she had all of those hearings that she just kind of crammed into those 3 days and gave Richard Allen what he wanted. Here you go. You seem good. You're not trying to hurt yourself. You look good in the courtroom. And I think the reason that Richard Allen looked good is because he made a decision. He says, I'm done playing this game and I found God and I'm going to try to salvage whatever I can from here on out. He's going to have grandkids and grandbabies. He's going to want to write them letters and see pictures, and he'll acclimate, which I think he's doing now. Okay, potential advantages of accepting a plea agreement include getting out of jail now instead of waiting for trial, receiving a reduced jail or prison sentence, reduced fines and other penalties, avoiding a felony conviction, quicker resolution to your criminal case, reduced legal costs, avoiding the public nature of a trial, which would benefit the families, right? And the state of Indiana overall, not to mention Richard Allen's family members. Saving your family and friends from being called as witnesses during a trial. One of the most significant advantages of accepting a plea deal is that you can get on with your life. You can put the criminal case behind you and move forward without the threat of a trial hanging over your head. Okay, now this next one is from Sewer and Associates, criminal defense lawyers. They titled this, What Happens at a Status Hearing in a Criminal Case? If he pleads, won't the gag order be lifted? Yeah, there won't be a need for a gag order. The case will be closed. He'll be sentenced and everything will be made public. Well, not everything, but a lot of stuff will be made public. Me too, Farmer. Me too. So even if they offer him a plea deal, it doesn't mean that he has to accept. But this is what I have been waiting for. This is what I've been trying to tell you guys what was coming. That we are at the end of the road. Good to see you, Cindy. Hope you're doing well. Thank you, H. Appreciate that, Mustang. Hello, Albert. Mental health will be the first thing. Yeah, Farmer, I don't expect humans to tell the truth, let alone a cold-blooded murderer. For them to commit murder, it definitely means that there's something wrong with them. And it usually has to do with their ego, psychopathy, things like that. And for them to be motivated to kill, that means that something sparked some kind of an anger or created that motive. And if it's caused them enough anger, they definitely don't want to relive that part. So they definitely don't mind reliving the act of getting their retribution. They don't mind getting the act of embarrassing their victims. But if they were belittled in any way, they'll leave that part out. They won't talk about that in most cases because it's all about control for them. Like, okay, you guys want to offer me a plea deal, it's going to be under my terms. You know, I'll tell you what happened, and then you guys can go ahead and give me what I'm asking for. And in that case, usually you're not going to really know a whole lot because they're going to keep the motive to themselves. Harry Lime says, take the DP off the table. Richard Allen comes clean. Yeah, something like that. Hey, Humanimal. What's that, Albert? Oh, my dog died. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Albert. Hang in there, buddy. I don't know if the death penalty's on the table, but it could be, from my understanding. Thank you, Sensei, with the super chat. 226 in chat. Don't forget to hit the like button. Sorry you're going through a difficult time, Sleuth. We appreciate you and all you do. Thank you so much. That means a lot, guys. Yeah, I don't know what was going on with that whole Richard Allen Whiteman situation. Hopefully, we'll have all the answers. Just don't forget, Doug Carter said, one day I'm going to tell you guys what happened. So don't forget to hold him to that. We've been fighting for a long time for justice. Regis, is there any other reason than a plea deal for a status hearing? Yes. This is basically for the judge to see everything and for the prosecution and the defense to look at each other's cases, see what they have. It's really an opportunity to keep it out of the trial. You know, can we come to an agreement here? Like, hey, you guys don't have enough evidence against my client. So you can go ahead and go through this trial, but at the end, we're going to get a dismissal. So yeah, as much as we want a plea deal, this could also mean that the charges will be dismissed. I just don't expect that. This is going exactly how I expected it to go. You know, we saw the death rattle, the death roll from the defense team. There's nothing else. There's nothing else on the docket. It's clear. There's nothing there. We had 3 days of hearings. Everything's been cleared out. And here it is, the status hearing. I told you guys, any day now. Harry Lime, hello. Oh, okay. Maybe he can plead insanity and serve his sentence in a psych prison. I think that that's off the table. Now he can be incompetent to stand trial, but then he'll just go under observation and testing again, and then they'll just reschedule for when he's good to go. Thank you, Connie. And if I go quiet randomly, it's because I'm hacking up a lung. I got the kung flu. All right, let's go here to Schur and Associates. What happens at a status hearing in a criminal case? After an arrest, there are many steps in the criminal process. If you plead not guilty, your case proceeds towards a criminal trial. However, the court may hold one or more status hearings before a trial. A status hearing or status conference is an opportunity for the court and the parties to check the status of the case. The prosecutor, defendant, criminal defense lawyer, and the judge attend the status hearing. A status conference allows the lawyers to move closer to resolving the case. The prosecutor and the criminal defense attorney may discuss several issues, such as discovery, terms of a potential plea agreement, a pretrial and pretrial motions. If the case cannot be resolved, the court might schedule the case for a trial or another status hearing. Should you accept a plea deal after status conference, the status conference can be an excellent opportunity for your lawyers to assess the prosecutor's willingness to enter a plea agreement. A plea deal requires you to plead guilty to the crime. However, the prosecutor agrees to drop charges, reduce charges, and or reduce penalties for your guilty plea. So that's what you guys can expect here during that hearing. Miss CD says, I think they will agree on a plea. And if they don't agree on the plea right now, they're definitely going to discuss the plea deal and the ramifications if it's accepted. I'm just hoping that McClellan will give him a fair deal. I'm not sure what that means. Something that I just hope that they can find resolution, quickly during this conference. But like we're reading here, there could be multiple conferences and then eventually they come to an agreement. But it looks like Richard Allen is ready. He's talking about finding God. He's giving specific details about the crime. And I feel like he's acclimated to being in jail. Okay, let's go to Blanchard Law. I need to zoom in on this one. Let me put on these glasses. What's up, JL? Cindy Lean says, I've had a few friends have had longtime furry family members pass on in the last 2 months. I'm praying for anyone who has had to say goodbye to their furry friends. I appreciate that, Cindy. Hey, Growing Crazy, how are you? Hey, Ryan, how you doing? No, we don't know anything for sure. But it's going just as I expected. And giving his demeanor and what we've learned from those 3 days of hearings, I think I know exactly what we're going to expect. And I think it's possible we're going to hear about other offenders, others who were involved in this crime or who helped cover it up. We could see, and if that happens, I think we could see a change in his charges. Maybe they remove the murder and just keep the kidnapping there. But I doubt that. We're most likely going to see him confess, receive a plea deal, and give some of those details to why this happened. And that'll be it. He will go directly to sentencing. Hey, what happens after this is resolved has nothing to do with us, right? And if he pleads guilty, it is what it is. Good to see you, Hiawatha. Yeah, I definitely wasn't planning on going live. I was going live on channel 2 to watch the interview between Trump and Musk. But that was it. And then this news broke. Swade Smith, welcome in. If this man did it, the prosecutor knew that he did it. They wouldn't be trying so hard to keep it quiet. Not quite sure what you mean. I'm gonna have to replay, but is this about what Murder Sheet told the Sun? I don't know what you're referring to. Hey, what's up, Frank Rizzo? I don't understand how his wife is still supporting him. Do you think she is in denial? I'm not quite sure. I mean, you don't get to pick and choose how you're going to react to these kinds of things. You know? Same goes for the victims' families. Because if she had no clue and she didn't help cover this up, she's definitely a victim. She's one of Richard Allen's victims. And that might be the hardest part for her, knowing that. I appreciate that, JL. Solar Chef Steph, how are you? Yep. This is if a plea is going to happen, this is where it begins. Me too, Jacqueline. I feel like Richard Allen wants to talk. He wants to tell what happened. And with what we know now, he may be a sick man. Maybe he wants to tell us there is no reason why. How many cases have we covered where the killer doesn't know? They say, I was stressed out, got the better of me. All right. Status conference in a criminal case is a meeting between the prosecuting attorney and defense attorney to discuss the status of the case, facilitate the exchange of information, and negotiate regarding a possible resolution. The judge may also be involved in the meeting, depending on the judge and the court. It is very similar to a pre-trial conference, except that it tends to happen after the case has been pending for a while. Below are some common questions and answers regarding the status conference. If you have specific questions regarding your case, you should always feel free to consult your attorney. Okay, when does a status conference happen? In most cases, a status conference happens towards the end of the case. In misdemeanor cases, the status conference is often the last hearing before the trial. In both felony and misdemeanor cases, some courts hold multiple status conferences, sometimes also called settlement conferences, pre-trial conferences, or final pre-trial conferences, so that the parties can stay updated on the status of the case and continue negotiations as they gather additional information. Often, courts will hold a final status conference shortly before a trial date, hence what we're dealing with here in the Delphi murders, as a final effort to resolve the case without holding a trial. So this is what they're doing. They're meeting to say, hey, are we going to trial, or can we come up with a plea deal, or will we be dismissing all charges, changing charges? That's what they're trying to determine. Who is present at the status conference? In criminal cases, the defendant is required to be present at the courthouse during the status conference. However, it is common practice for the defendant not to be present in the room during the actual meeting that takes place between the prosecuting attorney and defense attorney. In most cases, the status conference only involves the prosecuting attorney and defense attorney. However, sometimes the judge might also be present. So they're going to basically be speaking freely. This is when they get to do their thing. And this is what I've been waiting for, Oh, I bet, Cindy. Yeah, what are you referring to, Hiawatha? The Sun. You said the murder sheet and the Sun. I think I missed that. You're welcome, Jacqueline. Long weekend in Da Nang. Hey, Goat Dog, how are you? Hey, what's up, Jason? He said there better not be a plea deal. I hope there is one. As long as he says what happens, I hope. I really hope. I just don't want to see Abby and Libby's family sitting in that courtroom having to look at those people and listen to these defense attorneys. Oh, I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. Having Richard Allen turning around, whispering "I love you" to his wife, like, oh god, it sounds awful. Goat Dog says, after reading all of the messages of the due process gang, they have absolutely nothing, and he's just going to plead guilty to life in prison without possibility of parole. I think you're right on that. I think that's what he's expecting. And I don't know if the death penalty can or cannot be put on the table, but that's really all he has to negotiate with. And there's most likely no other actors, and it's just Richard Allen, this person who we know has mental health issues. Okay. So what happens during the status conference? During the status conference, your lawyer will sit down and have a discussion with the prosecutor who is in charge of prosecuting your case. They may talk about information that the prosecutor still needs to provide to you and your lawyer, such as police reports, dash cam or body cam videos, videos of witness interviews, electronic evidence, or laboratory reports, and discuss timeline and methods for turning over that evidence. The status conference is also an opportunity for your lawyer to begin negotiating a possible resolution. The resolution that your lawyer is seeking varies from case to case. In some cases, nothing short of a dismissal is acceptable. In other cases, clients are seeking a reduction of the criminal charges or a guarantee that the consequences of a plea will be limited in some way, such as with the sentencing agreement. Your lawyer's goal in negotiating with the prosecutor will be to obtain the best possible offer, um, the best possible offer possible. And then you will be given the opportunity to decide whether the offer is acceptable to you. So that's what they've been doing, you guys. Remember, I told you they were creating this huge monster so that they can bring it into the status hearing. Like, look here, this is the monster we plan to bring in court to fight you, Nick. This is the monster that we've created out of runes and conspiracy and um, all the mistakes that the investigators made. This is the beast that we've created. This is the beast that we will unleash in that courtroom if you don't make a decent deal with us. Now, this is what I've been saying to you guys from the very beginning of this, that this is where we were going to end up. And all of the Thunderdome bullshit was to create this monster. They need something. It's just a giant bargaining chip. Like, hey, we're willing to go to trial. You see the monster that we've created. We'll bring him into that courtroom if you make us. Or you can give my client the deal that he's asking for. Occasionally, the judge becomes involved in the conversation between the prosecutor and your lawyer. The judge might give input on whether or not they would accept a particular plea, offer, or sentencing agreement, or make suggestions about resolving the case in a particular way. However, the judge can't force the prosecutor to make any particular offer to resolve the case, just like the judge can't force you to accept any particular offer. Ooh, give me a second. I'm coughing up a lung. Oh, that's gross. Hey, Ricky, thank you. I appreciate that. After your lawyer meets with the prosecuting attorney, he or she will need to have a discussion with you about the results of the meeting. If any plea offers are made, you'll need to consider whether or not to accept the offer. Your lawyer's role is advise you about the possible consequences of the plea offer and make recommendations for a course of action in the case. You make the ultimate decision about whether or not to accept any offer or to move the case forward toward a jury trial. Okay, so we'll spend the last 10 minutes talking about all of this. And from what I've seen from Richard Allen, he definitely plans to accept a plea deal. He's hoping for a plea deal. And everything that we've seen up until this point was just his defense attorneys building up this creature to accompany Richard Allen in the courtroom. And hopefully, for his sake, they did a good enough job. Because remember, like Jason was saying, Nick doesn't have to give them a plea deal. He could say, "Hey, we have enough evidence, and we're going all the way with this. We're not here. We're not making a deal." So the status hearing is just as much of an opportunity for the defense to negotiate a deal as it is for the prosecutor. The U.S. Sun earlier today. Hiawatha, do you have a link or anything that you could shoot me, email me, or maybe give me some information how I can find it? Or just kind of tell me a little bit more about what you're talking about. Appreciate that, Farmer. Hiawatha says, I don't listen to the murder sheet. I don't either, unless usually the crew, they can kind of sift out all the good information from the bad, and if they recommend it, I'll go check it out. So I wouldn't say I don't listen to them, just not often. Says that and take everything with a grain of salt, but it's been my opinion since the beginning that he would end up pleading. Yep, Cindy. Me too. Hey, Annabelle, how are you? Hey, thank you. I appreciate that. Brenda says, KK. I don't know. I really don't know. The thing is, if he was even a CI or some kind of, if he played any part in that, they'll know during this hearing. Everything is going to be on the table. This is where all the educated decisions will be made. No more lawyer tricks. Ricky says, I saw the U.S. Sun also dropping. He turned down a plea deal, but I didn't know if that was a reputable news source or not. That's interesting. I'll have to check that out. When we're done here, I'll go read that. Pray one of the conditions is that he has to tell them who and why. Hey, Ryan says tentacles. Yeah, there could definitely be others involved. Hold on a second. Okay, sorry about that. Let me get some water. So I was watching a video, I think it was by Justice Serve Daily, and I did link it in my community page. And she was talking with Turbo and Jinx and some other folks. But she made a really interesting comment. You guys remember how Richard Allen said he was sorry about what he did to Abby, and we couldn't quite figure that out. Well, I couldn't. She made a great. She had her opinion was interesting about that. She said maybe he was the only person responsible for killing Abby, and somebody else was responsible for killing Libby. That's why he made those statements, and that hadn't occurred to me. So I found that very interesting. Yep, August 23rd. Here, I'll put that back up for you guys. Yeah, for sure, Farmer. This could go any way. I'm just letting you guys know. I've been given the play by play, and so far I haven't been wrong. Doesn't mean I can't be wrong here in the final stretch, but this is what I've been waiting for. The status hearing, this is where they will go ahead and put all the cards out there on the table and start the real negotiating. Kenneth says, "Are we going to hear KK or Dad's name when Richard Allen breaks his silence?" I really don't know. I mean, it's just so hard to look past that information, but sometimes you just have to. You have to follow the facts. But at the same time, you have to understand that you don't know all the facts. So sometimes it's just I don't know. And that's where I'm at. I'm not ready to throw that information out the window, and I'm not ready to hold on to it for dear life. But man, just all the weird stuff that's been going on with Keegan Kline, it's just hard to overlook. But at the same time, anybody that will do what Keegan Kline did is just going to be a weird guy. And when you got all these folks who have devoted their time and effort into the Delphi case, reaching out to manipulate him, he's going to love that attention, kind of like Elvis Fields, right? Like, look at all this attention I'm getting. Like, my family doesn't care about me until I start saying a bunch of crazy shit. Now they're calling the cops on me. They're texting me. They're asking me, did I really do this? Now I'm getting all this attention. It's not like I can get in trouble. I didn't really do it, right? I didn't really commit these murders, but I'm getting all this attention. You don't know. It's hard to explain why weird people do weird things. The lamp, Kathy Allen is not a victim. She's preventing Allen from confessing. That's possible. She might think that he's 100% guilty. I mean, those are my assumptions as well, but you can't go after her without really knowing. Because, I mean, imagine somebody without a record, somebody that you grew up with, somebody that you've been married to for how many decades, you have a kid with, it's almost like you couldn't even if you wanted to believe it, it's almost like you couldn't. Because once you did, then you're going to go down some kind of downward spiral. It's almost self-preservation is what I'm trying to say. Thank you, Kenneth. Yeah, make sure you guys hit that like button. We're going to get out of here in just about 5-10 minutes. Homie, don't play that. I hear what you're saying, Goat Dog. And the court system is screwed. I would rather them spend the money and get everyone involved to skimp and only the patsy gets time. Yeah, that would suck. It's not going to be an easy decision, I don't think, either way. Thank you, Growing Crazy. I appreciate that. Yep, and no trial to appeal. You're guilty and you're sentenced. That's it. Yep, 100%. That's true, Lamb. Hey, welcome in, Sonic Landscape. Some states you can appeal a plea. Indiana is hard to do that, though. I know it's possible. I think it happened in the Whitmer case. Did a live stream on that on Chan too, where there was 3 people facing the same charges. One of them took the plea deal, 2 of them didn't. The 2 were released and freed, and the person who took the plea deal had to somehow get back into court so he can get freed as well. And eventually he did. So yeah, you're right about that. What's up, DB? Or not DB? I wouldn't, Miss Mala. He seems happy. He seems happier now. He seems like he's been carrying around a bag full of bricks and he decided to put it down. That's what I see. Thank you, Mustang. MF Witchy Widow. Good to see you. All right, we're going to zip on down. Hey, Neil, new subscriber. Welcome, buddy. Glad to have you. Hey, Pipers, how are you? Yep, so they scheduled the status hearing today, and it's set for August 23rd. And we were kind of talking about what we could expect during the status hearing. And one of the main things is going to be a plea deal, but possibly also a dismissal. Thank you, Zoe. Thank you guys for supporting my channel the way that you do. So do I, Augie. It's just unfortunate that's not always the case. Thank you, Pipers. You know, I wish I was feeling better. I think my problem is that I thought I needed a whole lot of sleep, but I think what I really needed was sunlight. So I think that lack of vitamin D has been hurting me more than I thought it would. So after this, I'm going to go for a little walk. And then I'll see you guys on Chan 2 later. Thanks, Neil. I appreciate that. Hey, Grunge, how you doing? Not here, it's not. I wish. Hi, Carrie. How are you doing? Hope you're well. Grunge truck. It's a cruel, cruel summer leaving me here. Yeah, too much sleeping. I worked out yesterday and I felt great. I did a whole bunch of push-ups and did some light lifting, but I think I need to get out and get some sun. I tried to do some yard work yesterday, but man, I just started feeling sick. Good, Grunge. Good. All right, guys. Well, that's all we have here. You heard it from Sleuth Intuition. What you can expect during a status hearing. And we've told you from the beginning to stay calm, stay cool. Don't let the defense attorneys get up in your mind. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to control the narrative and spin things for their client. That's what they're hired to do. That's their entire goal in life is to put a spin on things. But I told you when everything is said and done and there's nothing left to do, we're going to get our status hearing and we're going to see a plea deal. And that's where we're at now. But unfortunately, the status hearing could mean there's not going to be a deal accepted and there could be a dismissal. But that's not what I see. I'm thinking we're going to get life in prison, no death penalty, and maybe some other thing, maybe some different charges, maybe. I'm not sure. Something along those lines. Hey, Brad from Outside of the Grid. Another great little podcast YouTube channel. If you guys haven't checked it out, go check it out. Piper says, no, please, no dismissal. Hey, we're going to find out. We are going to find out. But all I know is that it is crunch time. We're right there, guys. Maybe he's on private land. It's like, you can't get me. Thank you, Nana. Yeah, if you guys could like and share the video. And we'll meet up again maybe tomorrow as a follow-up. We'll see. Once you guys regurgitate this information, maybe you guys will have something to send my way. And maybe we will open up the phone lines and we could have a discussion about it. But on that note, if you could hit the like button on the way out. And another big shout out to the Sleuth crew. Thank you guys for all the positive and the well wishes. It means more than you know. And once again, justice for Abby and Libby. And like I've been saying, any day now.